The Cellcast is recorded in front of a live streaming audience.
Hello and welcome to another episode of The Cellcast. Joining me today is a man who, for some reason, has gotten really jumpy at the sight of starfish recently. Welcome, Jacob.
Ah, jeez. Don't ever do that to me again.
There are no starfish in here.
Are you sure?
Yes. I am sure.
Ah, jeez, I'm out of here.
Ignore the tentacle-looking things coming out of my mouth.
Ah! Nightmare fuel. Oh my gosh. Help. Jesus, come now, please. Why, thank you. Let me introduce our co-host, a man who simply just forgot to push the button. Welcome, Drew.
Nobody's gonna get that joke. Has nothing to do with the film.
Just roll with it.
Ay. Tonight, we are doing a patron pick.
Yes.
Our good friend Edwin Gonzalez, who's hanging out in the chat, he was a $10 patron for a couple months. He's not right this second because of just timing of these things.
It happens.
But he requested Batman Superman Battle of the Super Sons. He also was unable, while he is in the chat, he was unable to record with us, but I do have his notes. So, and if he says anything in chat, I will gladly repeat it. So, yeah. Why don't we go ahead and get started on this?
Yes, let's do that.
Certified fresh and spoiler free.
So I am fairly certain we talked about this in the news segment of the show
a couple years ago.
And that's the only reason the name even sounded familiar, because I did not watch this when it came out.
Me either.
There's too many cartoon shows,
There's
movies to
like
catch up
DC
on.
movies.
And
Good
DC
night.
movies, yeah. So, and granted, I know nothing about the two particular characters this is a focus on, outside of what I saw in this film. So yeah, it didn't draw me to it originally, but actually, yeah, this was pretty good.
I agree.
Just from a spoiler-free point of view, I don't want to get too far into it, but from what granted, most of what I know about these characters, I know from memes on the internet, which is not a fair source.
True.
So yeah, I already knew about Batcow.
Yeah, back out. That threw me.
But
Why does he have a cow?
I don't know. I didn't read the comic. I just know
Me
he has
either.
one because he's Damien and he cared for something once, and so
For
they took it
him,
home.
other than himself.
What do you expect from a kid who grew up as an assassin?
That is true.
But yeah, I knew, like I said, I knew nothing about what was going on here. Literally, all I knew was literally when I heard it was called Battle of the Super Sons, when Edwin asked for it, my literal thought was, so it's going to be Superboy, because that's how I was thinking. Superboy and Robin fighting each other. Well, that could be fun and cool.
For 2 seconds.
Superboy would win, because I don't care how inexperienced he is, Superman can beat up Batman. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And based on what little kryptonite we actually saw in this, it's not going to take much.
No.
But because that was
was
not a
point.
lot of kryptonite, and it took a long time to take effect. But anyway, I did enjoy the film. It was fun. It's about on par with how I expect most of these DC animated movies to go.
More
as long
modern
as it
ones,
was,
anyway.
Yeah, as long as it was a well-made, well-told story.
Yeah.
It was gonna be a good film. But because I know there's some of those that have not been as well appreciated, I'll
True.
say.
Samurai Batman.
I was thinking the one where Batgirl gets shot. What's the name of that? Death in the Family?
Death in the Family.
Yeah, Death in the Family.
No, it's not Death in the Family.
No.
That's again. I could see the cover. I could see the movie.
It's a Joker one. Killing Joke.
Yeah, the Killing Joke. Yeah, the Killing Joke. Be like
But I know that one was not well received by the fans of the comic.
Yeah, because they added so much to it. Now, granted, the second half of the movie is good. It's just more of the first half. It's like Okay, then what the crap are they doing?
Of Killing Joke?
Yeah, Killing Joke.
Okay. I hadn't seen it, so I don't know.
Okay.
Like, literally...
just brace whenever you watch it, because it's going to be like, what the crap?
Literally, I have not been following the DC animated films as much. Like, the ones I followed were when I found out Adam West was going to be in it.
Oh, okay. That's
The two Caped Crusader films,
okay.
Those are the ones that's like, I am there. I will watch that in a heartbeat. Because it was Adam West, and I love that era of Batman.
Of course.
But, and of course, we've watched a couple on the show already, such as The Long Halloween Parts 1 and 2, which we had Dallas on. And then there was another one I think we did, didn't we?
Well, obviously, we did the Mask of the Phantasm.
Mask of the Phantasm, yeah, but that's not one of the... That's not one of the this DC animated universe. Or whatever this...
No.
Even then, they switch back and forth. Because I've seen a couple of the other old ones. Like, the first one where Cyborg was part of the Justice League, and it was one about Batman having contingency plans on everybody.
Oh, yeah. Batman's Justice League Doomsday.
Justice League Doomsday, yeah. I've seen that one.
Okay.
And a couple of others that were early on. But it's just like, these are not things I wanted to keep up with as much. I'll put it that way.
Gotcha.
And it's not that I have anything against them. It's just like you can only follow so much at one time.
Yeah, there's so much you can dedicate to.
Yeah, and because apparently no one wants to just put these things out there where they're easily gotten a hold of. I mean, we had to pay what, $350 to rent
$350
a piece?
$375. It really depends on where you rent it from.
Right,
then
right.
Zaslav.
Why this wasn't on Max, I have no idea. But
did it contrast with something you were not putting on there, Zaslav?
No, I don't know what Zaslav is thinking. And granted, like, we keep blaming him like he's the one making all these decisions.
Right, he's not.
He's not, but he's the one who's ultimately responsible. So, Zaslav! Anyway, what are your thoughts on this?
Well, I remember, again, reading the news.
Oh, also, I have not kept up with the comics. I'll say that.
That's fair. But honestly, be like watching the film and understanding like whose art style they're following. It's like, oh, this is cool, and I know who did the design for Robin, his suit. Like I follow that artist a lot because he's good. Oh my gosh. What is it? John Boy Myers. But like he's the one who designed that suit for Robin when he was on Teen Titans. Yeah, my first impression be like we covered it in news when we were doing news at the time, and I wasn't really that impressed. I was like, oh great, they went to this, the 3D modeling. Yeah, and this is gonna look chunky as all out.
And I guarantee we'll talk about that.
Oh, yeah, we'll talk about it
in the spoiler review.
But that was my first impression. Be like, I'm not gonna like this. Because the approach to the animation style they're going to use in this movie, I was not a fan of. And it's just like, okay, we're just slowly drifting away from what art was into you like, oh, yeah, let's just AI everything. But that's not what they're doing.
Thankfully, they are not doing that completely.
No. But, so I rented this on, I think, Sunday, I believe.
Because I didn't get to it till Tuesday. I watched it Tuesday.
Yeah, I think it was like Sunday or Monday, one of those. But either or, like I'm watching, it's like, you know what? This isn't a bad film. This isn't bad. It's not terrible. It's kind of a coming of age story for both of our characters, and they have to they are thrust into a situation they never thought they would be in.
Yeah.
We have to save the world in some capacity. And I was like, okay, this is interesting. The animation is still kind of, okay. But I do love the character designs of everything, what's going on, for the most part. But, yeah, I really enjoyed it.
All right. Well, then let's go ahead and get into the spoiler-filled section of our review of Batman Superman Battle of the Super Sons. The following is a spoiler-filled review for Batman Superman Battle of the Super Sons. Listener discretion is advised. This film, I'm not going to say the whole title again. This film was directed by Matt Peters, who would go on to direct a couple episodes of Batman Caped Crusader. And it was written by Jeremy Adams. And based on the characters created by, well, Batman was created by Bob Kane and Bill Finger.
Primary Finger.
Superman was created by Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster.
Mm-hmm.
Jonathan Kent was created by Dan Jurgens, and Damian Wayne was created by Grant Morrison and Andy Kubert. I did not look up who made Starro. I probably should have.
Probably.
5 seconds.
Yeah, but Andy Kubert, oh my gosh, I love Andy Kubert as an artist. Such a good artist.
Starro the Conqueror, created by Gardner Fox and Mike Sikowski. Old character.
Yeah, very old character.
I mean, look at this classic art. Hang on. Where's the thing? Share screen.
Where's the thing?
Yoink.
Yoink.
Yoink. Yeah, look at this.
Yeah, that's definitely.
Look at this classic style comic book art.
That's 60s. That's definitely like 60s.
That's beautiful to
That
me.
is gorgeous.
So, yeah.
Artistically wise, like coloring and like arrangement. Yeah, it's gorgeous.
But yeah, you can definitely tell this is 60s.
Would you want that coming near you? Heck no.
No, there and the thing is, let's be honest, there is a reason why James Gunn's The Suicide Squad used this as its character, because it is still ridiculous.
Oh yeah.
It's a giant starfish.
Yes. I still haven't seen James Gunn's The Suicide Squad.
It's a fun film. That's all I'm going to say.
Gotcha.
It's Guardians of the Galaxy rated R.
Oh, okay.
That's the best way to put it.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, getting into the cast, we've got Jack Dylan Grazer as Jonathan Kent, and he played Alberto Scorfano in Luca.
Oh, okay.
Jack Griffo as Damian Wayne, and he played Max Thunderman in The Thundermans, which is a Nickelodeon show.
Oh, okay.
Laura Bailey played Lois Lane, and she plays Mary Jane Watson in Spider-Man for PS4.
Okay.
Troy Baker played Batman / Bruce Wayne, and he is Joel in The Last of Us, the game, not the show.
Gotcha.
Travis Willingham played Superman / Clark Kent, and he was Sebastian Shaw in X-Men 97.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Darren DePaul played Lex Luthor, and he also played Starro.
Gotcha.
And he played J. Jonah Jameson in Spider-Man for PS4.
Nice.
Tom Kenny played Green Arrow, the Penguin, and the Principal. And he is best known for playing SpongeBob SquarePants in SpongeBob SquarePants.
Oh, okay. So
imagine the Penguin going, "I'm ready, I'm ready."
So oddly enough, Tom Kenny he actually reprised his role as the Penguin for this from The Batman.
Yes, indeed.
Which I was like, wait a minute. I recognize that performance. I had no idea it was Tom Kenny.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, he plays a pretty good Penguin. And I was like, oh, and then he's that yellow sponge.
Yeah. Nolan North played Jor-El.
Okay, of course.
And he is Nathan Drake in the Uncharted video games.
And so many others.
Oh, yes. Myrna Velasco played Wonder Girl, Laura, and Mom. And
Mom?
That's how it's credited. I have no idea which one is Mom.
Okay.
But she played Jessica Cruz version of Green Lantern in DC Superhero Girls.
Oh, okay.
Lastly, Zeno Robinson played Jimmy Olsen and Melvin Masters.
Okay.
And he was Gamma 2 in Dragon Ball Superhero.
Oh.
Another
Now
3D, 2D movie.
Okay, now I recognize his voice. Okay.
Kingdom Hearts
I was, to be honest, when Jimmy Olsen showed up, I was like, oh, wow, okay, that's cool. It kept the spirit of the character. I was like, okay, this is cool. I love his design. It's like, that's great. I love it.
Kingdom Hearts connections. How many do you think we have?
5.
No.
Higher or lower?
Lower.
Oh. 2.
Close. It's actually 3.
3. Okay.
And one of them is most definitely included because of Smash Brothers.
Of course.
But I couldn't leave that out because Travis Willingham, who plays Superman in this, plays Ace in Kingdom Hearts, which is one of the forebears from the cell phone game.
Oh, okay.
But spoilers, he's in Kingdom Hearts 3 for 5 seconds. He's also the voice of Knuckles the Echidna and Ken Masters in Smash Brothers.
Oh, okay. I smash.
Tom Kenny also plays Rabbit in Kingdom Hearts.
Oh, okay.
And Laura Bailey, who is Lois Lane, plays the character of Lucina from Fire Emblem in Smash Brothers.
Okay, cool.
So that's what I've got in the cast and crew. What do we got in info and stuff?
All right, so info and stuff. Let me get back to that. All right, so IMDb has a 6.8 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes has a 100% score from the reviewers. And it has a 87% from the audience. So it's kind of weird. Which is always be like, most of the time it's like the audience loves them more than the critics, which is kind of odd. But apparently the critics love this film.
Apparently.
It is available on Apple TV for $3.99 and Amazon Video for $3.79. I watched it on Apple TV.
I watched it on YouTube.
Oh, okay. Yeah, also YouTube, it's like $3.99. But it's just me hearing a pop.
I'm not hearing a pop.
Oh, okay. Might be just moving my headphones. Either or. Production obviously was Warner Bros. Animation, DC Entertainment, and Studio Mir.
Mir.
Yeah, M-I-R. Mir.
That might be closer to Mir.
That is more Mir. Yeah, Mir instead of Mir. Mir. So it's Mew or Mir?
Mir.
Mir.
M-I-R. Mir.
Yeah, I'm aware. It's
kind of Russianish.
Yeah, Mir. Well, it sounds like another like Mew, but Mir.
Sure.
Yeah, let's go with it. It sounds
Sure.
it sounds like what a Pokemon would say.
No, there is. There is a. I think there's a satellite called Mir. Also, I think that's more what it's.
Yeah. Okay,
to.
that makes sense.
Now I'm gonna have to Google what it is, but continue.
All right. Distributed by obviously Warner Bros. Home Entertainment. It's rated PG-13. Its runtime is 79 minutes.
Okay. Yes, Mir was a Russian space station in
Mir,
orbit from 86 to 2001.
Yeah, Mir 1.
Yeah. That's it.
All right, got that. All right, so box office. The film premiered at New York Comic Con on October 7th, 2022, in a wide direct-to-video 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray digital release followed shortly after on October 18th, 2022, and that's it.
Yeah, it's a straight to video.
It's straight to video, and it was premiered at
Comic-Con
at New York Comic Con.
And if I remember correctly from what Edwin was saying earlier in the chat, because he is the one who suggested this, I think he said he saw this at a convention originally.
Really?
I think that's what he said. So
okay, well that'd be fun.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I saw a Kickstarter trailer for I think it was what they were calling at the point Star Trek Axelon, but they had to drop the
Axanar.
Axanar. That's Axanar. I'm sorry, Axanar.
Oh, Axanar is still coming apparently.
Axanar, they're still
because
working.
They released a trailer for Chapter 2. And I'm like, this is still around? I thought Paramount killed it.
No, they're still going. I'd be like, Paramount has not killed them yet.
You were thinking of Prelude to Axanar, which is an
Prelude
interesting little
it is. I
video
agree.
to watch.
Yeah, I saw that once at a Comic-Con. But yeah, that was cool here, Edwin. Cool. But yeah, that's all I have for info and stuff.
All right, getting into the summary. As the planet Krypton is on the verge of exploding...
Have we heard this before?
I figured it out. This is my 4th time to see the planet Krypton explode.
Oh, okay.
Correction, this is the 4th time I've seen Superman... or seen a young Kal-El being put in a rocket ship.
Oh, okay.
Technically, I've seen the planet Krypton blow up 5 times.
Oh, okay.
And just for consistency's sake. Superman 1.
Fair.
Superman, the animated series.
True.
we saw it only blow up in Superman Returns.
That is true.
Superman, Man of Steel.
That's true.
And then this movie.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Now, here's a very interesting question. We just talked about Superman films.
Yeah.
What is your favorite Superman film? Just really, really quick. I know it's off the cuff.
Superman is one of those characters I know, but I don't know.
Oh, okay.
You know?
So he's like based on the movies.
I figured it up. I know. Assuming that Starro is actually a Superman villain and not just a DC universe in general villain.
Yeah, he's
you consider him part of Superman's rogues gallery.
As far as I understand, yes.
Then I know 3 villains in Superman.
Okay.
I know 20 Batman villains, and I know 3 Superman villains.
Fair.
Lex Luthor, Brainiac, and Starro the Conqueror.
Yeah.
And Darkseid if it's a nice day.
Yes. But
a nice day of anti-life.
Yes, but it gets to the question: what is your favorite Superman?
Probably Superman 1.
Superman 1. Okay.
The original. It's the one I've seen the most.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna go.
I have nothing really against Man of Steel other than it was a little darker than I would have preferred. But as an alien invasion film, it was actually kind of interesting.
Yeah. My pick for that would be a little bit more controversial because I absolutely adore Man of Steel. I thought it was a fantastic film. Yes, it's a little dark, and I have a relative who will bite my head off because, oh my gosh, Superman has to kill somebody. Well, he really has no choice.
He also kills Zod in Superman 2, both
Yeah.
in the regular and the Richard Donner cut. So
Shut up!
It's like, oh, he broke his code. It's like,
He was in
He broke
between
his
a
code
rock
the
and a hard
second
place.
one.
If you want to complain about something, how about the fact that Batman has a gun in BVS?
that is true, but he doesn't really.
But
he's-
Batman's shot guns before, too, so what are we complaining about again? It just doesn't fit your particular vision of Batman and Superman. You
Yeah.
know what? If that's all you're complaining about, I can get behind that. Because it doesn't fit my vision either. You want to know what my vision of Batman and Superman is?
What's that?
The animated series.
Okay, good. World's Finest. Yeah, that's a good one. That's good. Which we reviewed.
BVS and World's Finest are the same film. Just one's done better. And that's the one with the Joker in it,
Yes.
trying to pick up, trying to get a ride off Lex Luthor by showing a little thigh.
Jeez.
And we find out that's his foot in there, not just the white little pat things. It's like he's barefoot in those shoes. Anyway, I have thrown Jacob off completely.
Breathe.
So anyway,
Yes. Yeah.
as the planet Krypton is on the verge of exploding once again,
Thanks for blowing out my ears. Ow.
Jor-El and Lara put their newborn son Kal-El in a spaceship bound for Earth.
No crypto this time?
He's in the film. An alien parasite, how he's in the film, I don't know, but he is in the film. An alien parasite named Starro escapes his containment in Jor-El's lab and stows away on the ship before it is sent to Earth, but falls off the ship partway through its journey. The spaceship lands in Kansas, where Kal-El is raised by Jonathan and Martha Kent and named Clark. Clark discovers he has superhuman abilities and becomes Superman. He meets Batman and reveals his identity to Lois Lane. The two marry and they have a son named John. Years later, the Kents are living in Smallville, which apparently is right outside of Metropolis, considering how quickly Lois Lane gets back and forth for work. John is frustrated by his father's frequent absences, unaware that Clark is Superman. One night, Superman saves the Justice League Watchtower from falling out of orbit as it is impacted by space debris. Superman has to leave to save Japan from a tsunami. On the Watchtower, Green Arrow, who investigates what hit the Watchtower, is attacked by a creature, and not King Kong. The next day, on his birthday, John develops heat vision.
What? He gets not King Kong?
Well, I mean, it was it. It took you too long to catch what I said.
Yes, it did. I was more thrown be like, it wasn't King Kong. I was like, huh?
Well, I mean, I could have, by the creature, I could have said Frankenstein's monster too, but.
That is true. I was like, huh?
The next day on his birthday, John develops heat vision.
Yes.
Clark reveals that he is Superman and takes John to Gotham City to see Batman for advice on when or if the rest of John's powers could emerge. John meets Batman's son, Damian Wayne, aka Robin, who is initially rude to him because he's Damian Wayne.
Yeah, I'm about to say, you think?
Batman reveals to Superman that he has lost contact with the Watchtower, and the two depart to see what is going on after Superman drops John back off in Smallville. When Batman and Superman arrive at the Watchtower, a possessed Martian Manhunter infects them with Starospores. Returning to the Batcave, the possessed Batman attempts to infect Damian, but the boy slices the spore apart. After Damian tricks Batman's spore into thinking that it has successfully killed him, he overhears that Starro has been able to infect both the Justice League and Teen Titans, and intends to infect John next. Damian travels to Smallville, where he and John escape an infected Lois. John uses his heat vision on the Starro spore, infecting Lois, which frees her from Starro's control. Damian and John travel to the Fortress of Solitude to use its Kryptonian technology to analyze a fragment of the Starro spore intended for Damian. After being mistaken for intruders by Krypto, the superdog, they meet a holographic copy of Jor-El's consciousness. Jor-El explains that the Starro spores are being controlled by a central hive mind Starro. John and Damian realize that Starro is on the Watchtower, and if they take it out, it will free everyone who is under control by the spores. John and Damian travel to the Watchtower in the same ship that brought Kal-El to Earth. On the Watchtower, they are apprehended by possessed members of the Justice League and the Teen Titans. Starro explains that he intends to drain the Earth of life after securing control over everyone. John's invulnerability manifests when he jumps in front of an arrow fired by the possessed Green Arrow at Damian, and the duo is able to subdue the possessed heroes attacking them. Lois is able to contact John from President Lex Luthor's office and tells John that Starro is vulnerable to heat. They discover that Starro has grown stronger and John's heat vision is no longer enough to destroy him. They resolve to knock the Watchtower out of orbit in the hopes that Starro will burn up with it on re-entry. After evacuating all of the subdued heroes on a spacecraft back to Earth, they are able to set the Watchtower on a course for re-entry. They are attacked by Starro, but he is injured as the Watchtower begins to burn up on re-entry, causing all Starro spores on Earth to die. Unable to escape from the Watchtower, Damian and John admit their respect for each other. Freed from Starro, Superman intercepts the falling Watchtower and rescues John and Damian. Starro survives the fall to Earth, where he is defeated by John, Damian, Batman, and Superman working together. Afterwards, Damian and Bruce visit the Kent family in Smallville. John and Damian discuss a name for themselves before settling on Super Sons. I would have gone with Gotenks, because basically this is Goten and Trunks with their sons, with their fathers Goku and Vegeta.
Yeah, you're not kidding.
Yes, I am saying Batman is Vegeta.
Okay, yeah, I get that.
He's the Prince of all Gotham.
That's true. It is very true.
I'm sorry. It was just a
Yeah,
funny thought that occurred to me earlier this week when I was thinking. I was like, dude, Damian is Trunks and John is Goten. Actually, I thought John was Gohan, but you know what? For Gotenks, we'll go Goten.
Yeah, it's more
not
Goten.
that different.
No, it's not.
Anyway, getting into the trivia for this. The movie was originally going to be a family-friendly before higher-ups asked for it to be PG-13. The baseball team John faces is the Midvale Spartans. Midvale is the location in classic comic book continuity of the orphanage in which Superman placed his cousin Kara to hide her identity as Supergirl.
Mm-hmm.
The way Superman fixes the hole on the Watchtower is exactly how he fixes the hole on the tanker in the Superman 3 film. And, lastly, now we're moving on to Edwin's thoughts really quickly on this film. He says, I love the movie for the cliches. The lesson John's principal tells him applying to Damian and not the bully Melvin. And being the useless adult, right about the wrong things, did some digging on Treevers, realized some things were fresh. Okay, yeah. He says, nice Kenner Kant reference in there briefly. Kid Flash in the movie was apparently Wally. The literal Chekhov's classroom. Lois's advice at the start, telling John to find your angle, and in most stories, we already know the ending. He's not wrong. I mean, we kind of knew they were going to have to win this by the end of it. John's development from fanboy to understanding sacrifice, Damien losing his arrogance and then getting closer to his dad hugging his son. Lois Lane's mention on the television station, get her curse word getting cut off, burn this beep.
Yeah, I love that. That's good.
Damien and John on the watchtower on their sacrifice. It's a good blend of the lonely and slightly sociopath Damien throwing John in the cave. It's nice having the Super Sons in this. I do enjoy John's voice actor more than I enjoyed him in Fury of the Gods. That's Shazam 2, by the way.
Oh, okay.
It's nice Damien's approach is nice, and went about joining the Titans the polite way. Let's just say one comic didn't do him that much of a favor. And oddly enough, there's something with Cassie and Damien together. Him turning them down for now was awesome. It was a great smug Damien scene, or just toying with them. Mm-hmm. It does strike a good balance for Damien, showing who he was and the progress in his character. Damien still gets some hate, but I understand that. He's not everyone's favorite, but when written well, consistent, the character is shown to have come so far. I understand some people don't like him as Robin, but he's among my top 2 in terms of Robins and Batman's sons. He likes that Lois Lane lighting Lex's head on fire.
That was good. I don't care who you are. That was hilarious.
He likes Bat Cow, because why wouldn't we like Bat Cow? Okay, we're still good.
Yeah.
There's a tradition of Superman family members being friends with the Batman family, which makes sense. Mm-hmm. And he lists a couple in here. I'm just going to skip through some of this because we don't... he gave me a lot of notes.
Oh, okay.
And I appreciate that, Edwin. Don't get me wrong. But I can't read everything.
Yeah.
But I did want to bring up...
He gave you a small book.
Yes. So just as a quick thing... Superman normally doesn't have a lot of children-esque characters. The closest is really John Kent, to my knowledge.
Sure.
But you could make the claim that almost every Robin, and Batgirl for that matter, is we all call them the Bat family.
Yeah, they are, traditionally.
And when I was watching this and I saw Starro, I realized that there is one member of the Bat family we don't actually get to see a lot of.
Oh, gosh.
But he is technically a Robin. And I am going to show this on the screen.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I could just do that. And that is Jarro!
Jarro?
It's I can't get it to come... it's because I'm clicking on the wrong thing. Yeah.
It's a Starro?
It's a Starro spore that apparently Batman grew into full consciousness and was a Robin, technically. He was grown and adopted by Batman. Despite being conflicted over his villainous heritage, he is incredibly affectionate toward Batman and considers him to be his father. Jarro also dreams of being Batman's best Robin. This is literally the Super Sons, because we've got a battle between two Robins and Superboy. Just one of those is technically barely connected to Robin.
Oh my gosh. That's hilarious.
So yes, for those of you who didn't know that there was a alien Robin,
yeah, Sparrow.
Now you know.
Starro.
Honestly, he's probably better than Jason Todd.
Oh, shots fired.
Actually, I don't know enough about Jason Todd's character other than we killed him.
Totally, we didn't kill him because we were too young.
We weren't born yet. I don't think... I don't remember exactly when, but the fans killed him because they called the number that said kill him.
Oh, my word. Hold on.
But, yeah, that is actually the end of my trivia.
Oh, my gosh.
While you're looking that up, I guess I'll start.
Yes, go ahead.
My first like for this is, like we mentioned, this is the 5th time we've seen Krypton blow up. And I got to thinking that this might actually be my favorite version of seeing, Kal-El being placed in the pod. Because all the other times, the scene has to play, I wouldn't say second fiddle, but that scene has to play like equal footing with introduction of a villainous character.
Okay.
So in Superman 1, along with that scene, you're also dealing with introducing Zod.
Okay.
In Superman the Animated Series, you've got to introduce Brainiac at the same time. In Man of Steel, we get Zod again.
Yeah.
In this one, Starro is introduced, but he's like on screen for a second.
Well, we get Starros, but we don't get
literally
Starro Prime.
Literally, I was watching this, and I saw the little starfish in the aquarium, and I go, "Oh, is that Starro?" Thinking this to myself, and I'm thinking it's a joke, right? And then it's attaching itself to
the craft.
The craft. I'm going, I was kidding! I was not expecting Starro the freaking Conqueror to be the villain of this thing. I was not expecting Battle of the Super Sons to be a kaiju film. But it is, technically.
Yes.
I actually did appreciate this one because this one we really do get some more characterization between the elves and their son.
Right.
And part of that is leaning into the whole father-son dynamic that is present throughout the whole film.
I got you.
But I appreciated how it really felt like you could see the sacrifice really on the parents' faces about how they know they have to give up their son in order for him to live, but they don't want to.
Oh, of course not.
And they were, what was it they said? I hope one day you have a son that makes me feel the same way
I
feel about you. Something like that.
Yeah.
And I thought, wow, that's just I know that's how they wrote it for this story. It was, but I was like, wow, that's a very powerful thing to say.
Yeah, agreed.
And for the destruction of Krypton, I thought this was probably more effective, for me anyway, than probably at least the two film versions. I've seen the two film versions since I've seen the original animated series. So I do need to go back and watch that one day. But yeah, I loved the destruction of Krypton in this. I thought it was handled very well.
Oh, agreed. So he kind of did a little dig at Jason Todd.
Because you do.
Because you do. But be like, the Red Hood, oh my gosh, I love that the design is a character, and just the character himself is awesome. But Jason Todd, the second Robin, was killed off.
Jack Napier likes it too.
Dump.
I'm just saying, before he was the Joker, he was the Red Hood.
That's true. He was the Red Hood. That's why Jason Todd came the Red Hood, because
and Beyond. Return of the Joker.
Yes.
I still say that was a him being the Red Hood is a reference to that film.
It was very much a reference to Jason Todd.
Because it was Jason Todd.
No, it wasn't.
Oh, it wasn't?
No, it was hold on. Who's the third Robin? Hold on.
I could have sworn it was Jason Todd.
No, it wasn't Jason Todd. Because it was like you had Dick, and then you had Jason Todd, and then you had that's easily probably
he's Red Robin now.
Yeah, he's Red Robin. Oh my gosh, Robin Yum. But Jason Todd was killed off in
Tim Drake.
Tim Drake. Yeah, it was
You're
Tim
right,
Drake.
it was Tim Drake.
Yeah, it was Tim Drake's. Tim Drake. Kind of a blend of Tim Drake and Jason Todd. Because Jason Todd in the comics was killed off in 1988 after a phone vote among fans condemned him to death by the Joker, and the event was a Death in the Family storyline in Batman 428.
What would they have called it if the fans had called to save Tim?
Oh, they wrote it. It's out there.
Or Todd, I should say. What would the name be? It wouldn't be Death in the Family at that
No,
point, because nobody died.
Yeah. I don't know. But they wrote it.
I know they wrote and drew both endings.
But it's just so funny. It's like, oh, let's get the fans to call in, because it was the 80s. You couldn't email anybody at the time.
And it was a 1-900 number, which meant you had to pay to vote.
Yeah, which is crazy. It was the 80s.
People paid to kill
Jason Todd, which is nuts.
That's why I said the Joker did not kill Jason Todd.
The fans did.
killed Jason Todd.
But oh my god, yeah.
They paid to kill him.
Yeah. All right, so that was your number one?
That was my first like was Krypton. The destruction of Krypton.
Oh, okay, so I'm going to kind of go to Krypton in a way. Crypto.
The super dog.
The super dog.
It's super dog.
So okay, so this scene in itself, I did not expect. It was like, okay, so of course they have to do something ridiculous to get into the Fortress of Solitude, and who they run into is Crypto.
Well, I mean, first off,
He's a good guard dog. Apparently,
before we get to that, let's talk about the giant key.
The giant key, which is like, yeah,
I get it. That is actually a thing in the comic book.
It is.
It's literally a giant key that only Superman can lift,
put in
the lock. And I love what Damian says, like, and now you have to turn it.
But also there are other versions of that where it's simply just a normal size key
that's extremely heavy.
But it's the sign of like a supernova.
Yeah. And then you get it. It's like Damian says, "Is that really all we had to do?" It's like, first off, that was a freaking heavy key, Damian. You couldn't have lifted that. What are you complaining about?
Right.
And then but he said the word. It's like, is that it? It's like,
you had to say that, Damian.
To say it.
Yeah. And all you is zap.
Like,
it's Crypto.
Crypto the super dog is here, and I'm sitting there going, is he good or evil? Does he know John? Is he controlled by a Starospore?
Oh gosh, no.
I kept half expecting.
I bet Crypto would just eat him.
I kept half expecting the starfish to come crawling out of his muzzle. Because I could see it happening.
You could see it. Yeah,
I could just see it mentally happening.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, he's just being a good guard dog who apparently never met Superman's son.
Well, of course he would never met him.
You're telling me, what does the dog eat then?
Just food?
You should be teaching your son. You should let your son have a pet. You have one. How you explain the fact that he can fly
for the Fortress of Solitude.
How you explain that the dog can fly and has heat vision and you're not Superman? I don't know.
Yeah. How do you explain that to your 12-year-old son, huh? How does that work?
I'm just saying, it's like, you could have at least... Crypto can't at least notice that his scent is similar to yours, Clark? Shouldn't your scents be similar?
Yeah, because all it takes is like a hologram telling Crypto, be like, oh, this is the son of Jor-El. Oh, hi. I wanted to kill you earlier.
It's like, the Invisible One tells me not to kill you, child.
Oh, okay. Okay, we're friends now. Oh, so just speaking of that, I thought it was hilarious. They recently dropped the new clip for the new Superman movie.
I still haven't watched it yet.
Oh my gosh.
But I still love Crypto is in this film.
Yes, it is an expanded version of that, which is like, oh my gosh. Like, and you can see a dog doing this. It is absolutely, and I'm actually dog sitting a dog who kind of looks like Crypto in a way. Now I want to buy the dog I'm babysitting, or dog sitting, a red cape, and be like, oh, Crypto.
All I'm saying now that you're putting Crypto the super dog in film. You need the rest of the super animals.
No.
Give me the super horse. I don't know the horse's name.
Me either. But we have a bat cow.
I just know there's a super horse for some reason.
There's a super horse because of course there's a super horse. There's a bat monkey.
Actually, just give me Streaky.
The cat?
The cat. The super cat.
The super cat. Because he's the Flash's cat, right?
No, he's part of the super animals. Because he got his powers from Crypto.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Didn't we review that movie?
Yes.
Oh my gosh!
Although I knew Streaky from the old Crypto the Super Dog. Cartoon.
Yeah, that's right.
From the
that's
2000s.
Right. Because I remember we watched that and did a review over it.
Yes.
That wasn't okay of a film.
Streaky the Super Cat is a fictional superhero cat that appears in comic books published by DC Comics. He first appeared in Action Comics number 261 and was created by Siegel and Mooney. He is a member of the Legion of Super Pets. Let's take a look at what this is real quick.
Oh, gosh.
Wait, why is there not just a list? of super pets.
Archie says kitty.
Yes,
And also,
kitty.
I like that cartoon a lot. Ha ha ha.
Oh, members: Crypto, Streaky the Super Cat, Beppo, Comet, Chip, Badig.
But what?
B''DG. How am I supposed to pronounce that?
Badig.
Prody 2, Detective Chimp, Solivar, Terrific Whatsit, Jumpa the Kanga, Hoppy the Marvel Bunny, Talkie Tawny, Wonder Dog, Rex the Wonder Dog, Ace the Bat Hound, Bat Cow, Flexi the Plastic Bird, Clay Critter, Titus, Pooch, Streak the Wonder Dog, Fuzzy the Crypto Mouse,
Crypto Mouse?
Crypto Mouse, PB, Mark, and Keith. Who are these things? I do not know, because these don't even have links. I can at least go up here to find out that
Don't go down the
Badig,
rabbit hole. Do not go down the rabbit
I
hole.
can find out Badig at least first appeared in Green Lantern Volume 4, Number 4 in 2005. It's pronounced Badge.
Badge.
It is one of the first recruits of the Reconstructed Corps, hailing from the planet. Not even going to try, with his predecessor Chip. Badge was first. I'm just reading Wikipedia at this point. He's basically Green Lantern's pet.
Okay. Okay.
And yes, artsy stuff. The Plastic Bird.
Yeah, the plastic bird is like
The
what?
fact that that's his name.
The plastic bird.
Flexi the Plastic Bird. It's gotta be Plastic Man's pet.
Has to be. Oh my gosh. We are going down such a super
Wow.
rabbit hole. It's not even funny. But yeah, Crypto's not introduction, but his little cameo as he chases the Super Sons around the Fortress of Solitude. I was like, oh my! One, he's animated beautifully. You'd be like, he looks like a dog. Obviously, be like, how do you get a dog
He's
wrong?
freaking scary in this.
He is. Be like, he's just firing laser bolts at these guys, and like flying and be like, he never touches the ground whatsoever. And I'm like, he's out to kill these two kids because you have invaded his home.
All he knows is they're intruders.
They're intruders. I must destroy them.
And they didn't bring me a treat.
It's like, Clark, you should have told them beforehand. It's like, oh yeah, if you visit the fortress, bring a treat. Otherwise, Crypto might kill you because he doesn't know you.
He likes beef jerky. No, cheese.
Yes.
Crypto likes cheese.
With peanut butter.
Yes.
Anyway, so I thought that was a really cool cameo. They brought in Crypto, which again, I'm excited about the new Superman because the Crypto's in the film. But yeah, I just thought it was really cool that they brought in Crypto. So yeah, that's it.
My second like is Starro the freaking Conqueror is in this film.
That threw me. I was like, what in the world?
And the thing is, here's the thing. In James Gunn's The Suicide Squad, yeah, it's creepy. Those and the implications of how Starro is used in that film does kind of make you feel kind of Starro in this film is a freaking horror show.
Oh yeah, you're not kidding.
Like just seeing the starfish things coming out of somebody's mouth and go
yeah.
And then they crawl up on the eyes it's controlling. It's like, yeah.
Yeah, no.
It's like, And the way they show it where I knew it was Starro because I saw him in the opening.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I was kidding that this was going to be Starro the freaking Conqueror. But so I knew that's what had crashed into the satellite, the watchtower.
Yeah.
And I was just thinking, like, Ollie, get out of there, Ollie. This is not going to work good for you, Ollie.
You're not
Why were you, of all people, left on this thing alone? Except Martian Manhunter is there apparently too.
Yeah, because he's Martian Manhunter.
And how did they had to, okay? Starro had to have gotten Martian Manhunter first because Martian Manhunter is freaking psychic.
Yeah,
he would have noticed.
Yeah.
And then and then all the other characters. It's like when you get up there and that moment when the two open the door and you see, I think Batman, Superman, and like two other Justice League members just staring at them. They just close the door.
Oh yeah, that's hilarious.
Yep, that's about how I expected that to go.
Yeah.
But even then, listening to Lois walking up to John in the school.
Oh yeah, that was
after
good.
she's
oh my
been
gosh.
taken over by the by Starro. Mm-hmm. It's like, oh, this is Terminator vibes. Say something. Get your mom to say something get proof that that's actually your mom. He says, "Hey, it's great for you to be here. Why don't we go home and eat all that chocolate stuff?" It's just, "Oh yeah, that sounds like a great idea." That's not her. Go run.
Oh my gosh, you're not kidding. You are not kidding. And I was like, oh yeah, just say something to her. Be like, prove it. And it's like, okay. And then it's like, oh sure, just give me a hug. I'm like, nope.
And then you get there and you see full on Starro, and he's saying, "You should be happy. I have ended all crime and pollution and all the other evils on your planet." Yeah, by taking everybody's free will and then sucking the life out of the planet.
Uh-huh.
That is just how things are. It's like, good night. Starro the freaking Conqueror is in this film. And he's used very well.
Oh yeah, agreed.
It's not goofy.
No, it's not.
Granted, in the Suicide Squad, it is goofy how they use him. But here, it's not goofy. It's just a giant alien taking over a giant satellite, and is going to use that to take over Earth. Mm-hmm. It works great. So yeah, I love the villain of this thing is Starro the Conqueror, because good night, is that a trial by fire for John?
Yes, agreed.
Who we still doesn't have a superhero name yet.
No.
What's your second like?
Oh my gosh. Be like, you hit it right at the like Starro's introduction. The fact they use the horror element that the Starro spore comes out of the mouth and just like that, like they jack the jaw up in way like it's like watching Alien for the first time and watching the chest burster come out scares the living crap out of you.
Coming right out of John Hurt's chest.
Yeah. Not again.
Hello, my baby. Hello, my honey. Hello, my ragtime gal.
Oh, Spaceballs.
Not again.
Not again. Spaceballs. Oh my gosh. But
the fact that it's still John Hurt.
Yeah, it's still John Hurt. They're like, it's freaking genius.
And when you watch the credits, it's like John Hurt as John Hurt.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. That makes sense. But,
sorry.
Oh my gosh. But like how they animate where it's like the people who have been infested by the Starro spore, it is just absolutely so freaking creepy. So like when you first see it, I can't remember who the first one is infected, but get that
it's Ollie officially.
Yeah, it's Ollie officially. But I was like, Oliver, what are you doing?
Why were you left on the satellite alone?
And I was like, maybe he wanted some alone time with Black Canary. Who knows?
That wouldn't be alone. Black Canary can hold her own.
That is true. That is true. But either or, what I'm referring to is more just how they animate it. It's just like, oh my gosh, it's got that horror vibe to it. It's like, did we just step into a horror film? This is kind of cool. And like, obviously, Starro is like, massive villain who's like, oh, I'm just going to take over everybody. Oh, I'm going to destroy this world. I've heard it absorb everything. I'm like, okay, that's not, what is that horror classic writer? Hold
George
on.
Romero.
No.
Stephen King.
Earlier.
Edgar Allan Poe.
Nope. Earlier.
Earlier than Poe.
Earlier than Poe.
Oh,
No. He was early.
Not Mary Shelley.
No.
Bram Stoker.
Nope.
Oh
crap.
H.G. Wells is more science fiction.
Yeah, H.G. Wells. No, this is
What's the book?
It's oh my gosh, what is it?
Describe the book.
I'm trying to describe the book. It's more. Hold on. Oh crap! Don't you love it when you be like you have the image in your head? It's I can hear it in my head, but I can't say it. I'll get back to it in a minute. But either or, oh my gosh, I love that. Don't you? Be like anybody who's listening or watching right now. Don't you love it when you have a thought in your head, you can hear the voice, you can hear it being said, but you can't say it for some weird reason because it won't compute. But
Robert Louis Stevenson.
No.
Washington Irving.
No.
H.P. Lovecraft.
H.P. Lovecraft.
The guy who made Cthulhu.
Yes, H.P. Lovecraft.
Okay.
Yeah, it's got that very much the H.P. Lovecraft kind of feel to it. You know, Lovecraftian kind of feel to it. Like, I couldn't remember the name.
I know, this is funny. Because I didn't even go Lovecraft, even though I should have.
Yeah, H.P. Lovecraft. Because that makes me think of H.P. Lovecraft. It's Starro. It's like,
That makes sense.
gosh.
Honestly, that makes
Yeah.
sense. I just wasn't making the connection.
Yeah, because I could hear Lovecraft, but it's just like, it was, it just wouldn't come out of my mouth. like a Starro, just like, either or. The Lovecrafty design of Starro, I found very fascinating. The fact that they'd be like, he'll come out of the person's mouth and just like, it was just perfect. Yeah, Starro or Lovecraft, whatever. I can't talk today. It's like I got a Starro. But yeah, I love the design, how Starro is kind of the spore itself, you know, attaches to the person's face and takes over their body. Or the first one we actually do see is Batman.
Yeah.
When he confronts Damian. And I was like, oh my gosh, whoa, crap, that's kind of scary. And I kept thinking in the back of my head, H.P. Lovecraft, this is the Lovecraftian thing. It's like, oh crap. But man, that was good. That was like that nice little turn. Obviously, you saw in the very beginning where it was going. If you know DC lore, you know, or if you watch anything more recent when it comes to the DC universe. But man, that was good. I was like, wow, that is really cool how they did that. Be like, that's your villain. Okay, that's cool. It's not Lex Luthor trying to take over the world. It's Brainiac. No, it's Starro. Anyway, that was my second like.
My third like for
Lovecraftian
this.
Starro.
My third like for this. Grant, this is just kind of a fun thing, but it's Bat Cow, okay?
Bat Cow.
Let me explain. Because first off,
You want to get milked?
First off, I love the fact Damien has a bat cow. And that it actually has the Batman symbol in its spots.
Yes.
Love that. That's hilarious. I know that's part of Grant Morrison's run.
Yes.
I don't care. It's just funny in and of itself. That's not my like, but it's connected, okay?
Yeah.
But it's the relationships between the sons and their fathers.
Yeah.
And it really culminates in that one of the last scenes of the film.
Oh, yeah.
Where after, you know, Superman has saved Damian and John from crashing into the Earth.
Yeah.
And we've had that relationship. We've seen that good, strong relationship between John and Clark.
Right.
Throughout the film. And so that was just like more of the same, but it was like very much my son was in danger and I'm glad he's safe.
Right.
But then you get Damian and Bruce. Mm-hmm. And Bruce goes, I was worried. It's like, there's so much in that one sentence.
Oh, yeah. Because it's Batman Bruce Wayne.
Because Bruce Wayne, bless his heart, probably has gone through a lot of trauma in his life, and probably is not. They call him gloomy, and he's gloomy for a reason. He probably can't process emotion very well. We already know his Bruce Wayne facade, because let's face it, we all know that Bruce Wayne is the secret identity, is the alternate identity. Batman is who he really is. That's always how that's how that's always been, at least since the 80s. But and probably since before that too. But at least since the 80s when they went with a darker take on Batman going forward from that.
Yeah.
But I just appreciate how it's like, especially watching Batman throughout this, when he's not being controlled by a Starro Spore.
Yeah.
And how you can tell he cares for Damian. You can tell he loves Damian. He's not good at showing it.
No, he's not.
But you can kind of see it and everything, especially when he and Clark are having that one discussion about, how's he doing? He says, well, he went through so much with Raj and Talia, never mentioning that that's actually his grandfather and his mother. And I'm going, yeah, he went through a lot with them, and how they did a lot to him to make him into this assassin, because he grew up as a member of the League of Assassins. He probably is still a card-carrying member.
Yeah, and the fact
I
that,
haven't read the comics, so I really don't know how Damien's relationship is with the ghouls, Al Ghouls.
Al Ghul, yeah.
But I just know he's hanging out with Batman now.
So, I remember there's one part in the film where Damien, also he's chastising poor John about it. He's like, I'm the grandson of the demon's head. Be like, I can do this and this and this.
I've killed more people than you've ever known.
You've met in your entire life. I'm like, okay.
It's like,
and then you have a pet cow
because he's still a child.
Yeah, he's still a child.
At least under Bruce, he's allowed to be a child.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah. And let's face it, he's got the pet cow because it's cute. You got to remember, there was one of the memes that I have seen, and the primary reason I even knew Bat Cow existed before watching this, it's just a picture from the comics of a panel of like 2 or 3 panels, and it's Batman, kind of angry at himself for some reason, or angry. Maybe things aren't going well with Damien. That sort of thing is kind of the vibe you get. And Bat Cow walks up and is just going, moo, and Batman looks over at him, kind of strokes him, goes, Bat Cow. It's like, I get it. Yeah. It's stupid. I get it. It's fun.
Oh, yeah, I agree.
Bat Cow is like one of the best things you could have ever added to this whole thing. And it's not just, he's just a cow. She's just a cow.
Yeah, just a cow.
That apparently Damien doesn't know how to milk.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
I love that moment.
I love that moment. Like, I can milk her, no problem.
No. The best part is like, John, we gotta go. Oh, here you go, Mr. Batman. It gives him that pail of milk, and I'm going, he just milks a cow. Because
he's a farm boy.
Because he's a farm boy. He knew she was in pain. He was being a hero to Batcow because Damien wouldn't be, because Damien probably has never touched an udder in his life.
Okay, breathe. Oh my gosh. I apologize. Oh my gosh. That was so funny in the wrong way.
This moment has been brought to you by the Cow Council for eating more chicken. Please don't break my table! They just announced a new Mario Kart World game.
No.
And there is a playable cow! I bet it's a heavy character too!
Stop it! Oh my gosh, I can't breathe.
I was trying to say, getting back on track, what my third for this film was the relationship between fathers and sons on display. It was done very well, and I still think one of the funniest moments is when John gave that pail of milk to Batman.
Yes.
As before they left. That's all I was trying to say.
Agreed. All right. So my third and final who? So if you want to hear the uncut version of this, go to patreon.com/SoCast at the $10 level?
$5 level.
$5 level to hear this. To hear the full context of the audio. If you're in the chat right now,
you realize I'm still cutting this part out because this isn't going to make sense to most people.
No, it's not. But anyways, anyhow, I'm pushing our Patreon. Either or, my third of this film would be the relationship between Damien and Jonathan, but primarily Damien, because Damien in the very beginning of this film is a very self-centered, very self-righteous young man who is just so easy to push people off. Yeah, and he's be like, I can do this by myself. I don't need anybody. And through his relationship with Jonathan, or John, he kind of learns to soften up a little bit. It'd be like he has this, you have this growing into manhood kind of thing. They kind of have this life experience with each other to, they become the young men they become through their differences with each other. You have John, who's this young guy who's from Smallville, kind of a, Smallville, little farm boy, country hick. And you have Damien, who's in the League of Assassins. Like, his grandfather is Ra's al Ghul. And like two different worlds where they come together. It is a great coming of age story. That's where I was going with. But overall, I really enjoy their dynamic and definitely Damien's growth as a character. That's all I got.
That was utterly spectacular. Let's move on to our dislike, shall we? My first dislike is the fact that Jacob has a dirty, dirty mind.
Oh, cow over it.
Anyway, my first actual dislike.
Yes. Moving right along.
Dig-a-doom, dig-a-doom. To Moo Moo Meadows. Anyway, my first actual dislike for this film actually is the 3D, 2D animation style.
Agreed.
For the most part, it is fine. It doesn't. It's when it messes up that it's obvious that that's what the issue is. Because most of the time, it kind of does just look like a 2D film. For the most part. And there are instances where when they use the 3D, it makes sense. Like some of the action scenes.
Right.
And the battle scenes. Those make sense. But there's a couple of times throughout this where it's painfully obvious that it's like it's missing a level of polish. I guess is really the best understanding of what it is. Because it's like, you can tell it's 2D. Or you can tell it's 3D, but it's kind of doing 2D, and you can still tell it's 3D.
Yeah.
It's like some of those moments during Dragon Ball Superhero, where there was a couple of times where it's like, okay, this art style does not exactly fit this 3D, 2D thing.
No, it doesn't.
And I think that's actually the issue here. Is a lot of times it looks great. For the Starro stuff, it's perfect.
Yeah, agreed.
And many of the camera angles and the active movement of the camera and the fight scenes, it works great. But for many of the scenes of like just the classroom scene,
okay,
it sticks out that that's what it is.
Okay, that makes sense.
That it's 3D, 2D. It's trying to be 2D, but it's a 3D environment. It feels like a 3D environment. Is a little bit of that disconnect. I think that maybe mostly just messing with me because it's a little bit Uncanny Valley-ish.
Yeah, agreed.
Because I'm expecting to see. It feels like it should be 2D, but yet I'm seeing a lot of 3D movements, and it's not where it makes sense to me. Because sometimes it feels like even the characters are kind of sliding around to make sure you're keeping that same angle on the face, which doesn't make a lot of sense. But yeah, the 2D, 3D is my first dislike.
Oh, yeah. So I am in the same boat as you are. All I have to say, I've been looking at Discord right now. Thanks, Artsy. But I do agree, and that's where my first dislike is going, is the 3D rendering of this movie. There is a lot of it where it doesn't seem it's completely polished. And obviously they're running off a budget and this and this and this, because you can't use big names. You can't use big names in this movie. And there are moments where it's okay, this looks really good, But then, like, you would have a 3D environment and trying to move around these 3D characters. It doesn't quite work. But, oh my gosh. But, yeah, it's just like there's some of it that just doesn't click. It's got that uncanny valley. It's just, this is a little too creepy to look at in some ways. But, yeah, that's my third dislike. First dislike.
My second dislike is the music. It is completely forgettable in this. It works in some cases,
yeah.
but come on, DC. You own how many themes for Batman and Superman that you could have used here?
Right.
To at least throw in some nostalgia. And it's not that what they wrote was bad. It's like none of it was memorable. So, yeah. It had the Superman, the main theme had traces of what the Superman animated series theme. It had some traces of that kind of feel to it, but it was still kind of just generic, for lack of a better term.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm going with the music for my second dislike.
Oh, okay. So my second dislike is it's very nitpicky because I remember who the artist is. I just can't remember his name, but like he's I believe he's I can't remember. I'm just going to butcher it. I think he's a Central American artist, and I do follow him, but like I do really enjoy his work, and the way they render his style into this 3D format, it just doesn't look that good. Definitely when you're dealing with Superman, Superman or Batman, because it really doesn't. It works, but it doesn't work. The characters are too stiff. The rigs are way too stiff. There are points where it's fluid, but more often than not, Batman and Superman look like they're statues.
Yeah,
and it's just like it's too. Be like the characters walk like this. There's no real movement in the shoulders. Be like no hip movement, no nothing. I understand you're dealing with a limited budget. You're this and this and this, but at least put the effort in to make the character's shoulders look like they're moving, because they just kind of just do this when they walk. Like the shoulders move very slightly, and you can see the feet move, but that's about it. It's just so stiff. Like when Superman flies, is or the one that got me when Batman is using a javelin, which is one of their shuttles, to get back to the Watchtower. It's literally Superman just this. You don't see his cape move or nothing. It's like this stiff rig, and it's just so embarrassing to watch in some cases if you're paying that close attention to it. But it's just like, wow, where they went before with, I don't know, Flashpoint Time Paradox, that movie's incredibly animated. Like most of that stuff is incredibly animated. And then they decide we're going to go 3D because it's cheaper. And it's just like, nah, I don't like it. I
don't know how much cheaper it actually is. It may be easier to teach because I think more people are learning 3D.
It's probably
2D.
cheaper. Be like it's probably be like it's the newer thing to do is go just full 3D.
Yeah, it's newer. I'll grant you that.
Yeah,
but and it's probably more of where people's training are coming out of school.
Right.
But I mean, we're not even in standard 2D, we're not talking about like hand drawn cartoons anymore. It's all vector.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, I don't know if it's really any cheaper than if they would have done it in 2D. Because I mean,
yeah, I agree.
Even the other DC stuff, it's still very vectorized 2D. Very what do they call that? Toon Boom Studio. The Toon Boom software, it has that very much feel to it.
Okay.
I think it's just to a degree more people are used to working in 3D now, and that because that's just what people expect an animated thing in the US to be nowadays, if we're being honest.
Gotcha. That makes sense. It makes sense because it's the new thing coming in, and that's what people are learning. And I think there's a part of me, the classic guy in me, would like them to go back a little further and be like use that older style, because it looks so good. And I understand they're dealing with new generations and new technology. They have to keep up. And it's kind of like what Disney had to do through the early 2000s to learn things.
And to a degree, it could also be they had, when you start a project like this, you have to make a decision, how are we animating this? You can't just go back and forth.
Yeah.
And all it takes is one executive, not necessarily the director or
most
the writer.
executives.
It could just be an executive at the top saying, we need to do more 3D, make this next movie use this 3D software to do it. And then the director says, well, we'll use that 3D software, but we're going to go for a more 2D look. And it has this clash. It works.
Yeah.
Mostly.
Yeah, mostly.
But and granted, this is 2022 when this came out.
Yeah.
You know exactly what happened.
Yeah, COVID.
No. They went and saw in 2019 and saw Enter the Spider-Verse and go, oh, look at that cool 2D, 3D thing. We need to do something like that.
That's right.
Hey, great. COVID was also a part
COVID
of it.
was a huge
and
factor.
that was a cost-saving measure because then they could easily work on all this from home. And there's a certain amount of speediness in the render process because you don't really have to do a lot of... Once you place the character in the scene in one composition, it's going to work in no matter what angle you put the camera at.
Right.
I mean, you might have to do some fiddling with it, but I mean, you don't have to fully redraw the whole thing just because you decide to put the camera in a different spot.
Right.
But and that is the advantage to that 3D thing, but it doesn't always work.
Right.
But I guarantee you, what happened was they saw Klaus. That was the Christmas movie that used the same style. And Grant, we're not talking about them using that particular style specifically. Because that was a specific texture on both of those. One was going for 60s era comic book. One was going for coffee table Christmassy illustration style. And this, they were definitely going for more modern comic book, not classic style comic book. And it kind of works. It also doesn't. So, anyway.
Yeah, fair. So, in that general sense, be like, there's a lot of good that's coming out of it. Be like, again, it's going to take years for them to master this. Because, again, kind of using the example of Disney, because they switched to 3D very early on in the early 2000s.
With Chicken Little.
Yeah, Chicken Little. And they took...
Dinosaur doesn't count.
Yeah, they took decades to do that. To where they are now with, like, Frozen 2, Wreck-It Ralph.
And it takes a while to learn that stuff.
It does. Be like, you can look at what they did with Tangled. Tangled's an amazing movie, but you can see the progression from an artistic standpoint, from Tangled to Frozen, like night and day animation.
Yeah, heck, Tangled to Frozen 2.
Yeah,
which is even bigger.
Yeah,
so,
agreed.
Even Frozen to Frozen 2 is different.
Yeah, agreed.
So
it's a different beast.
Yeah.
So this is going to take a couple of years, maybe a decade to learn, to fully render, fully master.
And the thing is, because of Warner Brothers Animation, they never use the same art style twice. It feels like, depending on what project they're working on. Because I mean, Warner Brothers Animation, not around the same time they were doing this, we're also working on, at least in the beginning stages of The Day the Earth Blew Up, because that was supposed to come out in 2024. Originally, that's what the copyright date is on it.
Ah, gotcha.
So they were, as this was finishing up, at least somewhere in the Warner Brothers Animation area, they were starting to work on this, which is very 2D.
Yeah,
like it is aiming for a specific 2D look.
Agreed.
And it's very drawn that way. I did actually get a chance to go see that film. I didn't get a chance to do a reaction because of scheduling, and Jacob didn't get a chance to go see it with me, so it kind of put a little bit of a damper on us getting to do that. But
we'll
probably review it regularly later on.
Yeah,
definitely. If we hear about Coyote versus Acme,
yes,
the two of us will probably make sure to carve out some time to go watch it.
It's like, stop everything. We're going to go see this film,
but
even if it's bad, we're going to watch it. Yeah,
but this, at the very least, it looks good. It's just there's a couple of crunchy areas.
Yeah, there's some few crunchy.
It just doesn't work. My second dislikes.
Hold on.
Because animation was my first.
Yeah, second, and then mine was.
And music was one of mine.
Yeah, this is.
So we're going into thirds.
Third, going to third.
Third dislike. they're just like, and maybe I'm just weird, and this is a bit of a nitpick.
Drew weird? No, of course not.
How does a hologram tell a dog what to do? This is not like a Star Trek hologram where it's kind of solid.
Yeah.
This is a Star Wars-esque hologram where it's just a floating image in the sky.
Yeah, it's projection.
And he goes, Crypto, don't you recognize that this is actually Kal-El's son? It's like, Crypto, don't you realize that that hologram has no smell, and so as far as you're concerned, doesn't exist?
Yeah. You can't
I'm sorry, that's how
you
I
can't sniff it. It's not real. Wouldn't you just bark at it?
It throws
try to
me.
bite
It's
it?
Because even dogs don't pay attention to the TV.
No.
So why would
they do in a
what
way.
they do? But you know what I mean.
Uh-huh.
If the TV gave them a command, the dog wouldn't do it. Right?
Depends on how trained the dog is.
But still,
Yeah.
it just feels goofy to me that
Yuck.
the hologram of Jor-El would be able to tell Crypto to stand down.
Okay.
If I don't know if I even have a good reason why, it just feels like the dog would ignore the hologram and would only really listen to Clark if he was there.
Yeah. Or
Because, especially since Crypto does not know who John is.
yeah.
Much less the kid who smells of blood because he's killed more people than John's ever known.
Yeah. Or let me throw this hypothetical out there. It's probably what happened. It's probably more that Clark has trained Crypto. It's okay. Listen to him. Be like, I know he doesn't. Be like, he's not there. You can't smell him, but just listen to him. He says something. Do it.
I get that. And maybe it's Kryptonian technology. Technically,
Yeah.
It probably has a smell generator for that the dog can smell.
It's a sniffotron.
It could. I don't know. It's one of those things where I don't want them to explain it because we don't need to get that bogged down in details.
Right.
And I am nitpicking.
Yeah.
At the same time. So yeah, it's like I said, this is a goofy thing to complain about, but literally I'm having a hard time coming up with stuff.
Fair.
So yeah. I dislike the fact that Crypto the super dog is listening to a hologram. I get that Crypto is intelligent, but he's still a dog.
He's still a dog. I agree. I do see your point. I may slightly disagree, but I see your point.
What's your third?
I don't have one really.
Oh, okay. So, how are we rating this film?
Okay. You go first.
I think I'm going to give it an 8.
An 8. Huh.
It's a fun little film. It does what it's supposed to do. It does what it's supposed to do well. The things that bug me are very minuscule. Even the 2D to 3D, I think in a lot of cases actually does work. It's just a couple of spots where I look at it and go, oh yeah, that's what's going on here. And that's why that looks funky. Because this is definitely not the art style this was designed for. So yeah, I'm giving it an 8 because at least it's good.
Okay.
It's fun, and it hits it out of the ballpark more times than it doesn't. Pardon the baseball pun, since there's a lot of baseball in this film, and it works. So yeah, I'm giving it an 8.
Okay. I'm gonna give it I'm gonna give it a 7.5. Be like, it's still a good movie. Be like, I think a 7.5 is a really good. It's still within that that 5-star range if we're going by stars. It does have little issues here and there. I do love the Lovecraftian the take on Starro as a villain. I was like, oh my gosh, yes, let's go there. The dynamic, the coming of age story with John and Damien, I really enjoyed that. And I thought it was a really good film. Be like, there's a little, like Drew said, there's a little nitpicks you can go with the film, but it's a good film. So for me, it's a 7.5, kind of floating there between a 7.5 and an 8. So it's there. So what movie are we reviewing next week?
Next week, I believe, is technically a your pick.
Bolt. Disney's Bolt.
Another super dog.
Another super dog. With a super bark.
Well, a version of him is a super dog with a super bark.
Yes, a version of him.
Maybe not the real version of him.
Yes. Honestly, I saw this in theaters. Wow, this is a good movie. I really enjoy it.
Yeah, we will be doing that next week. So join us for that. In the meantime, we're going to play some bumpers, and then we're going to get getting into, appropriately, a Robin story.
Yes.
This podcast is a proud member of Culture Box. Whether you enjoy geeky reviews, comedy, or original fiction, you can open up the Culture Box and find something excellent for your soul. Point your web browser to culturebox.media.
This week, we suggest checking out Geek Devotions. Geek Devotions is a collaboration of devoted geeks that are devoted to letting people know that they are loved. They produce a weekly geek culture-infused devotional, their podcast Com Talk, and written articles, all designed to encourage and challenge people in the geek community, bridging the gap between their faith and their geekdoms. You can find all their content at geekdevotions.com. The Cellcast would also like to thank the following patrons: Ashley and Francisco Ruiz, thanks Roy, PaulJPowers.com, and the Monster Island Film Vault. If you would like to have your name shouted out on the show, some special art from Jacob, uncut episodes, or you can do like Edwin was doing and donate to us on the $10 level, and you can actually get us to review something within reason. We do reserve the right to say no, depending on what it is. You can donate to, like I said, you can donate to us that on the $10 level, and if you are up to it, and you can actually join us on those episodes. So, yeah, get on that if you want to.
Yes.
Also, go support us on through our Redbubble store to get t-shirts and other merch through us to give us a little bit, basically just to keep us going, because there is still expenses to running a podcast, and the podcast is not even paying for itself yet. We're still paying for it out of pocket mostly. So, yeah. Lastly, on Tuesday nights, I am playing through Kingdom Hearts and recording another podcast called The Cellcast Presents Untangling Kingdom Hearts. Please either join me on Tuesday nights or go to search for The Cellcast Presents Untangling Kingdom Hearts in your favorite podcast catcher and give that a listen, especially if you are ever been curious about Kingdom Hearts and its sometimes convoluted, somewhat incomprehensive story. I say that knowing exactly kind of what's going on, and it's one of those things where if you come in at the wrong spots, you're going to be lost because you're missing important information for the story. So, yeah.
Okay. So also for me, so on Monday nights, I'm streaming live on Twitch under mine is Like an Artist. That's my artist handle, so where I will draw.
Like an Artist 82?
No, it's just Like an Artist.
Oh, okay.
I think it's Like an Artist. Yeah, it's Like an Artist. Like an Artist. Not Like an Artist. It's just like lycanthropy. Artist. Like it. I'm
Werewolf artist.
Werewolf.
But it's Lycan.
Yeah, like it.
It's easier to say.
Yes. But I am starting to stream on there on Monday nights, and I'm trying to draw every Monday and trying to get my confidence up when it comes to stuff. And thank you to everybody who's come along for the last, I think, two. But yeah, I do that on Monday nights. If you want to come and join me, I will try to put a link in where I can. And
if you're in the Cell Chat Facebook Messenger group, he usually posts the link there. So if he remembers.
Yeah, if I remember to do it.
If you remember to do it, and if he actually sees the chat running.
I'm still learning.
And admittedly, you're having to go about it the hard way.
Yes.
You're missing a major component that you do need to rectify at some point.
Yeah.
Because it is what it is.
Yeah, it is. I'm working within my means right now.
Exactly.
But yeah, join me there if you want me to on Monday night starting at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time.
I am vengeance. I am the night. I am Batman. 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 There is a song the good folks sing.
I And that's all I'm going to play because we keep getting hit by not quite copyright strikes, but I'm tired of having to share monetization.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
So
That is fair.
yeah,
That is totally fair.
I'm tired of seeing that notice. It's like, I know, Warner Brothers, stop. I'm not stealing. I am using this correctly, but you are being ornery. Batman the Animated Series, Robin's Reckoning, Parts 1 and 2. This is episodes 32 and 33 production-wise, 51 and 52 broadcast-wise. Directed by Dick Seabass and written by Randy Rogel. In this episode, when Robin discovers that the thug who murdered his parents, an extortionist named Tony Zuko, is back in Gotham City, he recalls the events of his life as a young circus performer and the tragedy that made him an orphan. Wanting to capture the criminal by himself, Robin rebels after Batman attempts to shut him out of the investigation. Robin starts looking for Tony Zuko despite Batman's orders to stay out of the case. As Robin remembers the time when he was a little kid, he found Zuko, and then Batman revealed his real identity to him. He decided to put an end to Zuko once and for all. Robin is able to find Zuko, but he ultimately proves his true character by choosing justice over revenge. Cast for this episode, we got Paul Edding as Ferris Dolan, Eugene Roche as Arnold Stromwell, Joni Cimarron as Dick Grayson, age 10, Thomas F. Wilson as Tony Zuko, Linda Gary as Birdie, Rebecca Gilchrist as Chi-Chi, Charles Howerton as Lenny, and Lionel Mark Smith as the bus driver. Yes, there's a character in this named Chi-Chi.
So there's a little bit of trivia. I'm curious to be like if you caught it or not. The guy who plays
Let's see.
Okay.
This is the first portrayal of Robin's origins outside of the comic book series. Bruce Timm often said that the scene where Dick Grayson says goodbye to his circus friends before leaving for Wayne Manor has made him cry several times. Batman's costume in the flashback sequence was a cross between the original Bob Kane design and the Batman Year One design. These episodes won an Emmy Award for Outstanding Animated Program for programming 1 hour or less.
Okay.
In this episode, in the flashback, Jim Gordon appears as a detective with red hair, reference, which is interesting when you consider his daughter has red hair too.
Yes. Wonder where he gets that. Wonder where she gets that from.
Tony Zuko's uncle, Arnold Arnie Stromwell, shown here as a young man, is also the focus of the episode It's Never Too Late, which we've already reviewed.
True.
Dick's parents were supposed to be shown falling during their trapeze performance, but that was pretty much out of the question. So as co-creator Eric Radomski explained, we came up with the idea that the trapeze ropes going through the scene with a spotlight on them, and then coming back with one sheared rope and stinging with appropriate music. That approach paid off with Robin's Reckoning winning an Emmy for Outstanding Animated Program. Thomas F. Wilson, who voices Tony Zuko in this episode, is wildly known for his work in Back to the Future trilogy as Biff Tannen. In this episode, Thomas has 3 henchmen that resemble Biff Tannen's gang in Back to the Future Part 2.
There you go.
Dick's design, while in his circus costume, is similar to that of his Golden Age circus performer version of Dick, and also, strangely enough, Astro Boy, particularly his white pupiled eyes.
That makes sense.
This is referencing Detective Comics issue number 38. This is probably the oldest reference Batman the Animated Series has actually done. And Robin sliding his motorcycle sideways to stop it at the dock is one of the most famous referenced scenes homage scenes
to Akira.
To Akira.
Yes.
He does the Akira slide.
Yes.
And literally, I was watching the thing, and he does like, Akira slide! Akira slide!
I did the exact same thing. I'm like, oh,
it's like,
reference.
Once you know once you have seen that's a thing, you see it everywhere because everybody references it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm assuming the Biff Tannen thing.
Oh yeah, it was the Tannen thing.
Was what you were mentioning.
Yeah.
So that's what I've got in the trivia. What are your thoughts on these episodes?
These 2 episodes are lit. Just without full stop, they are amazing. Be like, you do get the origin of Robin. You get more of the dynamic of, pardon the pun, the dynamic of Batman and Robin. Be like the way that this version of Batman truly does care about Dick Grayson. He wants to protect him because he knows exactly what he's going to do.
Yeah.
Because he's known this young man since he was 10 years old. And he knows exactly what Dick will do. And so he's trying to prevent that from happening because he loves this young man beyond anything. And he's just trying to protect him.
Which is why I find it appropriate that this is coming up on the same episode as Battle of the Super Sons.
Oh, yeah. Because
we could not have planned
No,
that.
you are not kidding. It's kind of like a... I'm trying to think of the theological... The
Providence.
Yeah, it's kind of providence. Yeah.
Providence is the theological term for what
Yeah.
we normally call luck.
Yeah, for luck.
Because luck doesn't actually exist.
Yeah, but providence in this. But it's just the story itself is amazing. You get this amazing flashback of like how Bruce and young Dick came to know each other, like how he came to live at Wayne Manor, what caused that, be like for me, I didn't know that. It was like, oh my gosh, as a kid watching this was just freaking mind blowing. It's, oh my gosh, his parents died. Oh, this Zuko guy killed him.
Yeah.
And once you realize that the very end of the first part of Reckoning was he realizes the aliases ultimately come down to Zuko, and the point where I think it's hold on, let me get a second, where Alfred is trying to persuade Robin not to do it, and be like it's more like Robin doesn't even know he doesn't know if he's gonna ever trust Batman again, or he's ever going to do this again, but he has to find revenge for his family. And it's just so freaking touching the entire time because it just goes through the metamorphosis of that relationship, where young Dick tries to go and find Zuko. He does find him, but Batman in his early outfit, not his modern outfit for TAS, but he does find Tony Zuko. And it's just it's so brilliant. Every single beat in this episode, these 2 episodes, it is genius how this is written. It's excellently well done, animation done, except for one scene. I'll get that to in a minute.
Yeah.
This is genius. This is so lit. It's not even funny. If you people have never watched this, go watch it. Stop whatever you're doing. Go watch these 2 episodes on Max. If you have the box set, go watch it.
Or Amazon,
wherever. Go watch it and enjoy these 2 episodes. These are amazing. Now, the only caveat I have of this is it's a brilliant scene. So it's, Bruce or Robin has Zuko in his hands. He'd be he's hanging him over the pier, going to drop him, because he is so filled with revenge. And then Batman, who is injured, who's limping up, is like, Robin, don't do this. Minus there's no lip flap whatsoever. Because obviously maybe there was an animation error. It could have been they had to redub it.
My suspicion is that originally Batman wasn't going to say anything.
Probably.
He was just going to walk up and kind of do the bat stare, for lack of a better term, to let Robin work through this and realize it wasn't going to work. Because I think to a degree Batman would understand what's going on through Robin's mind during all this.
Yeah, agreed.
And I think that maybe they thought when they went back and rewatched it, okay, that doesn't work. We do need to at least have Batman talk Robin down. And so they had Kevin Conroy come back in and record those lines.
That's a possibility.
And they just did not have the money to go back in and reanimate a couple of lip flaps. Because this is still 90s. Everything is hand-drawn. It's being hand-drawn in Korea, most likely, I think, is where this episode was done.
Yeah, it's in Korea.
This is not one of the Japanese episodes. So they probably didn't have time to go back and do the lip flaps with time and money wise, and so they just like, we'll do this and we'll just let it go.
Okay.
Because it's only a couple seconds.
Yeah, it's only a couple frames.
It's only a couple frames, and it would have been watched on a CRT 480 interlaced image. Most people would not have cared.
And now we're watching everything in 4K.
Only because we're watching it in like 4K with brilliantly remastered. Are we going in and now seeing animation errors?
Yeah.
That they didn't originally intend for us to see. So. I will say, going over my thoughts on this. I had been concerned coming up on this episode because we had 4 Robin episodes? 4 episodes where Robin showed up in this before we had the Robin origin story.
Yeah.
I remembered that we had a Robin origin story in Robin's Reckoning, but in my mind, it was a present day story. It was not a flashback story. So when this started up and we see Robin and Batman, watching these guys, work the construction site, and Robin says, I don't get to do this very often since I went to college. I thought, oh, that's a good reason why Robin's not in all these episodes.
Yeah.
Okay, that's kind of smart. And then they start doing the flashbacks, and I go, okay. And that makes sense on how you tell the story. And I love how we get all the little... we get to see all these characters at a different time. Like, we get to see Commissioner Gordon with color in his hair while he's still a detective. And we get to see Bullock as a beat cop, which is hilarious to me. I don't know why. And of course we get to see everyone else. The only character who does not look like they changed from the past to the present is Alfred.
Yeah, agreed.
It's the same character design. So but then you get the details, like that's a different costume design for Batman than we normally see it, and that's an expensive change for the show to do, because you look at Gordon, it's basically the normal Gordon look, just they colored his hair orange instead of white. You look at even Bullock, it's only like maybe a minute he's on screen in that costume, but even that's not really that much. But you get Batman, who is doing a lot in these 2 episodes, and he's got a different costume design, but it's only like if you didn't know that the costume designs can change, you would not have noticed that was probably a different costume, because it looks very similar. I think what the difference is mainly the symbol and the gloves. The costume feels much more 60s ish than Tim Burton-ish.
Yeah, it's got this combination more like maybe more like a 1940s like early Batman.
It feels more like the strongman look that most superheroes are based on, instead of the Dark Knight post Tim Burton post Batman films, which is what the normal Kevin Conroy costume looks like. So I like that they went to that much trouble for that difference. How I forgot in 30 years that this was a flashback episode. It just goes to show you how long it's been, because I knew there was one of these, and I remember how even as a kid watching Dick's mother on the trapeze, it go off screen, and just that one frayed rope comes back on screen. I remembered how powerful that was.
Oh yeah.
And watching it now, knowing what limitations they had to work under for standards and practices and censorship, and you can't kill anyone on screen, and all this other stuff. Honestly, I think this is more powerful than if you actually showed it, because your imagination can do a lot more things than you can actually show on screen.
Agreed.
So seeing that happen it come back in, you get that stinger note. It's like you know what Dick just watched. You know what everybody in that circus tent just saw happen. And then you get Bruce come up, and I really think this is probably one of the few times we actually see Bruce. Because most of the time, our persona is Batman, who sometimes pretends to be Bruce.
Sure.
This when Bruce walks up to talk with the commissioner and decides he's going to take in Dick, I feel like this is one of the few times we actually see Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
And you can see through his grief what he's going through. He knows what Dick's going through.
Yeah.
And that's what I think is great about this is because, we just got done talking about Robin as a son of Batman. And literally Damian Wayne is the son of Batman.
Yeah, biological son of God.
While I know Dick Grayson was technically only a ward of the Wayne estate, I kind of always, and I think in these two episodes kind of pushed it to into my forethought. This Dick Grayson is not the adopted son of Bruce Wayne.
Right.
They're adopted brothers.
Yeah.
Because they are not brothers by blood, but brothers by grief. And they both know what the other has gone through. And it's more apparent here than I think in any other piece of media I've ever watched. Yes, I'm including Batman 66. Because they're just, there is that it does feel more like a father-son dynamic. But here it's very much a brotherhood of crime fighters fighting, doing justice, trying to fix the city that they're in for no other reason than to help their own grief, to work through their own grief. That's primarily the reason Batman and Robin do this.
Yeah, agreed.
Because not just because it needs to be done, but because this is literally their therapy in many ways, and so they understand, and this is how they work through it. And that's the only reason why Bruce Wayne was able to talk Dick down from killing Tony Zuko.
Agreed.
The only reason. So yeah, this is just these are two really good episodes.
They are.
This was some episodes I was actually looking forward to getting to, and obviously I had forgotten one of the more important details about it before we watched it. The moment that moment you talked about with the missing lip flaps. Yeah, guarantee you, I never would have saw that as a kid.
Oh yeah, I didn't either.
And admittedly, if you had not mentioned that, I might have registered the missing lip flaps when I went to watch it, but honestly, it didn't affect me that much, I don't think.
Okay, fair enough.
Just because, I get it. At the same time, it's like, this is like missing lip of the animation errors I've caught. Missing lip flaps is, I think, the minimal. Especially when you consider one of the ones I caught was an entire frame that said cut this fram. And it still made it into the thing. Yeah. So yeah, this is a minimal one for me, and it's like that one little nick in a perfect 2-part episode. It's just a nick, and agreed. I can let the nick go because this is done so well otherwise. And I am thankful they didn't try to connect this to any standard Batman villain, because that would have caused problems for me, I think. Giving it to one of the regular gangsters, I think made sense in this instance. Because that's who killed Batman's parents, was a normal gangster.
Regular Joe, Joe Blow or Joe Fixit in this case.
Wasn't it like Joe? Not Joe.
Joe
Cool.
Fixit.
No, he had a different name, I thought. Hang on, not Jack Napier from Batman the movie. That's a different deal.
Yeah. But I think it's Joe Fixit. I could be wrong, but I think it is Joe Fixit.
I thought it had a different name because it was very much a 40s name. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Joe Chill.
Joe Chill, okay.
Yeah, Joe Chill.
We were close with the Joe name.
Yeah, it's just Fix It didn't seem right.
Yeah, Joe Fix
Chill.
It, Joe Phil.
Joe Chill does sound like that kind of a name. So.
Yeah, Joe Chill.
And as far as I know, he Batman never had the chance to go for revenge against Joe Chill.
Right. But I think one of the most touching moments in this episode is the conclusion of it, is where they are walking back from the pier. The sun is rising.
Yes.
And
walking into daylight.
Walking in daylight, where Robin is helping Batman because Batman's injured. And
that's the other thing. This is the only one of these episodes where we actually see Batman injured.
Yeah.
And I thought that's a brave thing to do to one of the greatest superheroes.
Is to make him vulnerable.
Is to make him vulnerable, because no other. Granted, we've seen like Spider-Man get injured. We've seen Wolverine get injured.
Yeah.
We've seen Superman get injured. You don't normally see Batman get injured for whatever reason. Anyway, I appreciated that they actually made. I know it was just so they could have Robin be in the physically stronger of the two, and the only one who could have taken out, make it where Batman couldn't forcefully keep Robin from killing Tony Zuko. Yeah, I know that's why, but at the same time, it's like I was not expecting you to injure Batman. Yeah. Sorry, I interrupted you.
No, you're good. You're good. Be like that was the perfect
you were talking, conclusion. Yeah, you were talking about the sun.
Yeah, it was a perfect conclusion to that. It's just the sun was rising. They're walking into frame, as you know, as the credits as the scene goes to black.
It's very similar to like the old westerns where they're walking off into the sunset. Granted, it's sunrise instead of sunset because that really fits what they're doing better here. Yeah, but it's very much that traditional scene of them riding off into the sun. But yeah, that's this episode. These two episodes. With the next one, we are going to be looking at Night of the Ninja and Cat Scratch Fever. Meow. So join us for that. In the meantime, this has been Drew.
This is Jacob.
And we will catch you in the next frame.
To follow Jacob and Drew's individual internet exploits, check out the Linktree links in the show notes. You can email us at thecellcastpodcast@gmail.com. Follow us on Twitter or X at @cast_cell. Follow our Facebook page, The Cellcast Podcast, and join our Facebook group, The Cell Nation, our YouTube channel, Cellcast, and our Rumble channel, The Cellcast Gaming. You can join us every Friday night at 7 p.m. Central for our live recordings of our episodes on Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, and Rumble. You can also join Drew on those same streaming channels on Tuesday nights at 8 p.m. Central for gaming streams. You can listen to our podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or anywhere else fine podcasts can be downloaded from. Please rate and review us where you found us. Our theme song is Drop and Roll by Silent Partner. Our bad movie theme is It's Party Time by Gregory Snegoff, with additional audio from the film Titanic: The Legend Goes On, and remember, that's Cell with a single L.
Na 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 bat cow, bat cow. Na 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 bat cow. Eat more chicken.
That was utterly ridiculous.
So was most of this episode.